H is committee and department head reports. They're in your packet. Do you have any questions or discussions around any of those? If not, we'll move on to item number 7, which is the council forum. And I'd like to start it out by saying that there were 4 of us that attended the Learning, Growing, Thriving Iowa League of Cities 2010 at Coralville, Iowa. The sessions were excellent. There were some very, very good ones. Some of the ones that we attended, Leading in Tough Times was one that I went to. Living in a Glass House was all about communication, open meetings, so on and so forth. Cooperating Across City Lines was just really, really good. They talked about not only cooperating with just your community, but with the county, with your neighboring communities to make you a destination for to incorporate more and to support each other rather than being such a singular unit. I also attended the one on nuisance abatement where we got lots of information, lots and lots of information. There were several lawyers in there, and we have lots of forums and things that we certainly will share. But all in all, everything that I attended was really, really excellent, and since we paid for it, I'd like to see us try to incorporate some of the stuff that we learned.
I would even think perhaps a meeting devoted just to, incorporating some of the ideas that were, brought back.
One of the things that we haven't done and that they suggested, and I'm bringing this up because it's getting to be budget time, and we really need to know what our main goals are and what this council wants to see happen. And there is only so much money, and they suggested that we have at least a work session to talk about that. Adam's going to be working on the budget, and wouldn't it be a good idea for us to have a meeting to discuss these things?
I agree.
So,
well, I mean, we always have the capital improvement budget every year, and I think it would be a good place to start.
Right.
See where we're at, from what we planned for, and continue it on.
and it's an open meeting. Anybody can come, and there's nothing wrong with anybody coming. So, is there a particular? Would you rather have it in the daytime? Would you rather have it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening? Give us some suggestions.
What time frame are you looking at?
We need to do it fairly soon because he's working on it. He's working on the dollars and cents.
When are you going to be out in the field?
Well, how about a rainy day?
I think you want to do it evening on much day. You want public to come. 7 to 9 o'clock one evening.
Okay. Is there one night of the week that's better than any other night of the week?
2. What time?
7 to 9?
Well,
Jim suggested 7 to 9.
Why don't we just wrap it into the next council meeting?
Afterwards.
Would that be okay with everybody?
Just have it as a part of it. It'd have to be an open meeting anyway, so just have it.
It'd be cheaper that way. Be here anyway.
One thing I did come back with was they said to plan extra money for sand and salt for the next 10 years. They honestly said that.
Oh, boy,
We're in a
we
wet
had
cycle
enough
right now,
last
it'll be
year.
at least another 10 years.
Okay, so we'll plan for the work session the next meeting. All right, is everybody okay with that? All right.
It's hard for me to,
Don't shoot the messenger.
Oh, we're blaming you. If we have, it would be better than trying to get you out of the field in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, some of the brochures that you thought were outstanding, perhaps if we could have the office run off some copies of those, so if anyone who has things that were, outstanding publications that you think it's willing to share, I'd like to have those.
I will condense some of the things. I mean, there's no sense in everybody getting a great big packet, but what I thought I would do is just go and condense a few of them and just pick out the major items on them, because everything we did is online at the Iowa League of Cities. All of these handouts and everything.
I can give you a list of the sessions, and if you think there's any sessions you might be interested in the handouts from, I can go and print them out for you and put them in your mailbox. So I'll put a list of what I'll put together.
They're all in that little book Barb has there.
Yeah.
Right, but honestly, there's some things, I think we missed the purpose if we just hand this out to everybody and say, here it is. If there's no discussion around it and we don't decide to use some of these ideas, what good was it? We spent money for it. I'm
Well, I'd like to
speaking my
hear,
piece,
synopsis of what, if you came back with anything that we could utilize here or talk about. I guess one of the questions I had was, did anybody talk about what to do with some of the properties, or is that under that?
That's under this nuisance thing. There are some new laws, and it was very complete and it was very complex. And I have this, if anybody'd like to take this with them, I mean, I have the whole printed out thing. You're certainly welcome to take it with you. The other one that was interesting during that session was the special statutes authorizing cities and counties to utilize tax sale procedures for rehab of abandoned, vacant, and nuisance properties. There was some really good information in these sessions.
I for one, would like a copy of these two things, related to nuisance.
I think it would be honestly good for everybody.
Could I get a copy?
So why don't we just get everybody a copy of these two for sure?
And then maybe planning and zoning would like to have a copy, or something like that too, I don't know.
Certainly. I mean, it's information for anyone.
If somebody could forward the website.
IowaLeagueofCities.com.
You may have to
Or-
log in to do it.
What about?
IowaLeagueofCities.org.
Okay.
Let me know if you can't get to it, because you may have to log in to get
Okay.
to this. So,
What is on that website? Has
A
somebody
lot of information and all
related
of
to
this.
this?
Yeah.
It's an excellent website to go to just to look up.
And I think you gotta put a password, but I think if you're registered with
Right.
it, I think you're.
If you're a council person, you can register.
I think I got it once or twice,
There were some really good ideas. And another one that I attended was, I'm going to call it Going Green for lack of what they called it, but it was the city of Fairfield, Iowa, and it was really interesting. If they got a person from, what's Tom Duncan?
Iowa State.
Yeah, from Iowa State, to work with their city to go green, and they started small, and what they were trying to do was make themselves a place where people wanted to come and do business. So they started out very small, and they have a person that works just with that city. And the very first thing they did was go around and do an energy audit in every one of their city buildings. And I forget how many thousands of dollars they saved in their utility bills. The second thing they were doing was doing a study on rainwater falling off of all the roofs downtown, because where does all that water go and what could they do with it? And there is, if you go online, there's a site for them as well that talks about all of this. And
What they
talk
do with the
about
rainwater?
well, they make
Rain gardens.
yeah, that's the word I was looking for. They make rain gardens where they use certain materials so that by the time the water gets where it's going to go, it's clear and purified and so on and so forth.
Did they use porous pavers?
Yeah,
With
some of
kind
that.
of a bedrock underneath
Uh-huh.
so that it would all go back into the groundwater?
Right.
And then, rather than it just pouring down the street? Stephanie Weisenbach is one of the heads at the Department of Economic Development, that they host these trainings throughout the state of information that you can get as far as rainwater and how to properly treat rainwater, or how to get it out of your downtown without it actually going through your stormwater system, and all the green
There's a lot of
technology, all of that stuff. So if you're interested in any of that information or attending one of those training sessions, I can start forwarding that information on to you as well.
It was really very, very interesting, and they said it's making a huge impact on the interest that people have in their city. And instead of thinking they're going out after somebody, they're more making their city more where someone wants to come to it.
West Union, Iowa is doing a similar type program, but they're greening their entire downtown. And they've gotten a lot of community development block grants and state money.
He said there's a lot of money out there for it. But you gotta start small, because the things are, it's a pretty large job.
Well, it's new technology and it's always expensive.
So I just wanted to share that with you. Anything else?
They suffer Kids World, October.
17th, is it?
What are you talking about?
Spaghetti supper at the Kids World.
I think it's a Monday night after, Tuesday night after the meeting, so it'll be
Yeah,
the same as the council meeting. Or Tuesday after a council meeting.
So it's the 12th then, council meeting 11th.
Yeah.
Fundraiser.
The senior center is having a spaghetti bake that Sunday, and then Kids World is having a spaghetti supper that Tuesday.
Okay,
So spaghetti that week.
and second is the Cattleman's thing again?
Yes.
Yes,
And don't
October
forget,
2nd is the fundraiser for the community center at the Sac County Cattle Company.
Third.
Sunday.
And the 4th and the 5th, they're installing the park equipment. October 4th and 5th.
Yeah, it's a Sunday buffet.
Okay? Anything else for the good of the cause?
Move to adjourn?
Okay? Is there a second?
Second.
Call for a vote?
Councilman Henson?
Yes.
Johnston?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Ritter?
Yes.
Silver? Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.